rivalries. How would you sort of describe the significance of the Galaxy-Sounders dynamic?
Well, the two coaches that started the rivalry are no longer with the respective teams, but I think LA was always a big market team. We'd like to think of ourselves as a big market team. They always sign marquee players, the Beckhams, the Donovans of the world. We signed Lumberg, Keller. I mean, it's been a rivalry since day one. So it's been, you could call it West Coast, East Coast, Ziggy versus Bruce. I mean, there's a lot of intriguing little side stories there that made it a good rivalry.
With so much that's changed then, is there a shifting dynamic then? How would you sort of define it in 2017 then, with Bruce and Ziggy gone and some of those dynamics having shifted?
Well, I still think both clubs are still big teams, big clubs. A lot of history in the two clubs. And, the competitive nature of, our league, the rivalry is always there. It won't go away. I think you saw even last night. I mean, San Jose was our bogey team. And for us to come away with a win last night was good. It made the guys in the locker room feel pretty good. Last year we went down to LA and Jordy, put on a show. Well, Ozzie did too. I mean, some of the other guys helped, but that victory was, instrumental in pushing us kind of over the edge. So I think the rivalry is a good one, and it's still alive, and I don't expect it to go away anytime soon.
Does Jordan's performances against LA in the past give you some hope that you might be able to play him this weekend, or kind of upgrade your consideration?
Yeah, upgrade consideration, I would say, because we don't know how. I mean, is he going to start on Wednesday, and then it's 2 starts in a row, and national team dynamic, how they train, all that sort of stuff, and we have to take that into consideration. But it certainly will be nice having Jordy and Clint back. I mean, that's going to be nice.
During the first few months of the season, the lineup was that lineup decision was often down to who was healthy. Now you're looking at a part of the season where you get to make tough choices. How do you go about figuring those out when you've got the healthy bodies and you've got a bunch of guys that are in form that entering the Gold Cup might not have been starters?
Well, it certainly makes our job as coaches more challenging, but it's a good problem to have. I mean, I'm not concerned about it. Everybody's going to want to play. Yes, you'll get guys that get a little grumpy if they don't play, but we dealt with that a little bit with Nelson and Andreas Avancic. I mean, I had to tell one of those guys, both those guys have played for their respective countries, I had to tell one of them, well, you're not playing. They didn't take it too well. They trained and raised the level of training. So that's actually a good thing in my eyes.
With 2 weeks left in the transfer window, do you still want to see another guy added in to give you even more options?
Sure. Garth's working hard on that. Chris Henderson has done a great job of scouting and getting those targets out there. So, I got to trust what those guys do.
What goes into consideration into naming somebody a captain when Ozzie's not in?
You're making me think here. That's a good question. So, the challenge is you had Brad Evans, who was a captain for a long time. And he's deserved of being a captain of this team again. Ozzie is deserved of continuing to be a captain of this team. I'm looking at Stefan Fry. He could be a captain of this team. Roman, Nico, all those guys, they're all leaders in the team. And so it's challenging in many ways to who you give the armband to. But my expectation, whether, Ozzie, Nico, Brad, whoever wears the band, that the other veteran guys on the squad do their job and step up. The specific reason for, Nico and Roman in lieu of Brad was just I needed Brad to just be Brad. I didn't want to add any stress, not that being a captain adds a ton of stress to him, but I just wanted him to focus on his soccer. And I think Brad's performance the last 2 games has been very, very good. I was very happy with his 2 performances.
There was some debate around the national team as to how Clint would transition and accept coming off the bench and how that might change his role with them. And it seems like he's really taken that on, especially if you look at that semifinal. Does it surprise you at all how he's been able to take to that?
Well, we don't know the inside story and how difficult or challenging some of those conversations are, because all the players want to play. All the guys want to play. Now, what I would do is I would compliment Clint, because whatever conversations he and Bruce had, he came out on the field and actually delivered. I mean, the pass to Altidore and his goal, okay, so he helped the team get into the final. And Clint is a team guy. So, I give kudos to Clint.
What's your expectation with Ozzie's timeline right now?
I'll leave that up to the medical guys. He's still a ways away, but, obviously he's been out here running around and stuff, so he's getting closer.
That leads you to another selection of the captain. Now that Brad's had a couple of good games, is that something that he might be on that list?
Sure, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I would like to solidify it in Ozzie's absence, so I'll think about it.
How big was this homestand for you guys, given that you're about to go back on the road for the next 2 matches?
Big. It's big in the sense that we always enjoy playing at home in front of our fans. I think that's always gives us a little bit of a lift. But we're not afraid to go on the road either. I mean, earlier this year, probably our best performance in the early part of the year was down in LA. And then Minnesota obviously will be a different challenge. We haven't played them yet, on their field, new surroundings and everything, so that'll certainly be challenging. But, we're not afraid to go on the road and play teams.
The team has been able to score, 11 goals in the last 4 games or something like that. It seems like everybody's inspired. Christian coming up, national team. Clint is having a great time, great moment. You think that's going to continue toward the next part of the season?
Sure. The equipment guys do a really good job. Scotty Trania does a really good job of getting music on in the locker room, and there might have been a little, start of a couple of dance moves going and stuff. So, the team's feeling pretty good.